life's going to look a little different from here on out, at least for the foreseeable future. No matter who you are or where you live, we've all been affected by the coronavirus situation that we now find ourselves in. And if you're a student, you've likely found yourself now in a situation that's a little bit more challenging. I think it's safe and fair to say that this might not be what you had signed up for when you thought of becoming a student and pursuing your education. And it can feel incredibly frustrating and scary and even very confusing when you find yourself in the midst of this situation that you feel like you have no control over. You signed up to go to school, not to maybe have to study at home all the time, or to find yourself having to look for new ways to learn material because you can't be on campus or you can't reach out to the instructors and the individuals that you want to for help. What I want to remind you of in this situation is that while we cannot control what happens to us and we cannot control what happens around us, we can always control how we respond to the situations that we find ourselves in. No matter what these situations are that we find ourselves in, how we respond to these situations is always under our control. And when you realize that you have that element of control to be able to dictate your responses and your outlook towards what it is that you find yourself in and what you're facing, you gain a new sense of inner power and of peace within you that you can only find when you realize that you do have a lot of power to control how you respond to these unique and challenging times. Now, as a student, you didn't sign up for having to study at home all the time, or again be confined to a dorm and not go to campus, not get the access to the materials and the instructors and the resources that you wanted to get. But again, I want to remind you that you have something within you that is greater than anything else you could ever possibly come up against. Now, I'm not saying that what we're going through right now for you or for me is going to be easy. And in fact, it's probably going to be extremely challenging in a lot of ways. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to even be a grind from time to time. But that's okay, because we have that spirit within us that reminds us that we have the ability to control how we're responding to everything that it is that we're up against. And when you realize that, and when you recall that, and when you implement that, and when you let it play out into your life, it will give you a sense of peace and a sense of courage that you otherwise would not have. So I want to remind you that whatever situation you're in, as a student, if you're someone who is feeling overwhelmed, or you feel that your mental health is suffering a little bit, you have something within you that is greater than anything else you could ever possibly come up against. Now, even believing that in these times can be incredibly challenging, and it can be a chore to implement that mindset and to carry it out on a regular and daily basis. That's okay. It's okay to fight. Struggle is a part of life, and when we choose to fight back, that in itself right there is a reminder to ourselves that we have the ability to respond in healthy ways, ways that build us up, ways that make us stronger. You are not helpless in these times, and while I want you to reach out to whoever you need to help you become stronger and to become more at peace with the situations you find yourselves in, I want you to remember that you have more control in these situations than you likely realize. And again, that's tough. I struggle with it all the time, every single day. But I'm here to tell you that I know that you and I have something within us that allows us to overcome whatever it is that we're up against in these times. It's stressful, it's scary, and it's frightening, but we have control. Dwell on what you have control of and ask yourself how you're going to respond in ways that can build you up, that can help you persevere and get through whatever challenges it is in these times that you find yourself in. Now, I'm going to tell you something else here. Whatever it is that you have lost from these times of having to be quarantined, from these times of having to miss out on opportunities and circumstances and events that you would have liked to have found yourselves in, whatever you have lost from that, you have more than gained back in terms of resilience and mental fortitude. That I can assure you of. Listen, it's a challenge right now with where we're at, but challenges are how we grow. This is how life works. If we want to get stronger, we need to be challenged, we need to be stretched, we need to be pushed, we need to be pulled in different directions. It's not pleasant to go through, but what awaits on the other side of that is something so profoundly beautiful that we need to do our best to remember that in these moments that we find ourselves in, we're struggling, that it's okay to struggle, because again, we can choose to respond in ways that are healthy and appropriate, because we have control. We have control of this situation in terms of how we're responding to it, and that is life-giving, and I want you to remember that. So wherever you're at right now, as a student, or even if you're not a student, you have more control than you realize, and it's okay to fight for that control. You have something so profoundly beautiful within you that if you dwell on it and allow yourself to remember that you can control how you respond to how you're feeling in these times, you will make it through the other side, and you will be uniquely qualified to speak life into other individuals who will one day down the road find themselves in the position that you're currently in. So wherever you're at in the midst of these times, my hope is that you can feel an inner sense of peace wash over you as you remember that you can control how you respond to what it is that you find yourself up against. My belief is that you have something wonderful and beautiful within you that cannot be stopped, that cannot be taken down by anything you're ever going to come up against. So dwell on that. Let it come into you and really, really focus on it and understand that you are powerful and you will get through these challenges. You will come out stronger on the other end of it, and it will be a beautiful thing to see. Whatever situations or challenges from this coronavirus situation or any other situations you find yourself in again, it does not change your ability with how you respond to what it is that you find yourself fighting against. You will come out of this stronger, you will be better equipped for it, and you will be uniquely qualified to speak life into other individuals down the road. Everyone, take care of yourselves. I want you to know that I'm rooting for you and I am cheering for you, because I believe you have something great to offer this world as you go through this situation. Take care of yourselves, look after one another, and I'll see you in the next video.